Let's talk about a story that was breaking globally tonight and, of course, this afternoon. China abandoning the one-child policy that was introduced in the late 1970s in a bid really to defuse a demographic time bomb that threatens to choke growth in the world's second largest economy.
Yes, Fatima, once a blessing, really. This was for the nation's scarce resources. Now the baby limit is threatening to undermine growth in the country. China's working age population has shrunk last year, and this has happened for the first time in a span of 2 decades. To discuss the implications, really, of this latest move by China, let's connect with Sreeram Chaulia, who's Dean at the Jindal School of International Affairs.
Dr. Chaulia, I just want to bring you in on this in terms of what the Communist Party is really doing in terms of its strategy, but also given the timing with the politics of what's happening and, of course, the economy in China right now.
I think the Communist Party is going through upheaval because of the slowdown in the Chinese economy. The growth of the economy was the basis for the legitimacy and the popularity of the party, and now they need to find new means of social affirmation in Chinese society. And this one-child policy has been extremely unpopular because it deprived women of reproductive rights, and it was highly coercive. And I think they're trying to also create new means of acceptance for the party in the society, and this relaxation could be one of these means. There's also the aspect of how the party used to report higher up the chain of command. So lower level provincial and village level officials had to enforce the one-child policy in order to earn their spurs with the superiors. And all of this meant that there was actually a highly punitive social policy. Now we are witnessing a change. This is expected to be one of the bunch of reforms that China is, people are watching out China for. And together with potential relaxation of state control over the markets, this could potentially spur a new era of Chinese growth. At least that would be what the Communist Party officials, the bigwigs, would be hoping.
That's what they are hoping. We have heard out the economic reasons, the social reasons as well. Both of you have pointed it out. But Dr. Chaulia, since you started talking about this, what do you think are the implications of this move now to remove this policy, and how is it going to really play out on the Chinese economy? That's what I'm trying to understand.
You know, the Communist Party has done many marvels, and they believe in social engineering and re-engineering. So they will be hoping that this time, again, at a critical inflection point in their history, they are making the right choice. But I think the timing has been delayed because I agree with Dr. Guruswamy that what happens is that when you have extended demographic decline, which is on the anvil for China, individual nucleus families are not going to make the decisions based on whether the government is allowing you to have one extra baby or not. The cost of living, other lifestyle issues are paramount in the eyes of a lot of Chinese people. And for them to now even to have an incentive, many countries that are facing demographic decline across the world are unable to incentivize baby boomers. So I think it's going to be hard for them to pull this one. But nonetheless, we cannot write off the party because over its last nearly 100 years of existence, it has often reinvented itself, and it believes actually in command and control. So I think they're not completely relaxed that either. And this is another kind of controlled release. And they will be hoping that it works in terms of being an optimal policy, because they need a new generation of laborers and workers to come in. And of course, they want to move towards a consumption-based economy, and they need actually more hands to buy and more mouths to feed. So I think now it's a different era in Chinese history, and they are hoping, I think, that they can pull this off.
Dr. Chaulia, on this, your views in terms of the economies of the two countries and the demographics going into the future.
Yes, as you know, The Economist has predicted that India is in a demographic sweet spot, and that India's growth will surpass that of China, primarily because we have far less of an unproductive population. So our profile is supposed to have meant that we will eventually catch up with them. I think the Communist Party in China is now calculating that it can retain its lead, it can continue growing by relaxing the one-child policy norm. But as we've spoken, it's going to be hard. It's like one thing is to drag the horse to the riverbank, but to make it drink water is another thing. So I think they're going to struggle, and I think the advantage advantage of demographic advantage will remain with India, insofar as we are a democratic society. We have relatively good fertility rates, and we don't have heavy state intervention in reproductive choices of women. And so I think all of these mean that the Chinese will still not be able to reverse India's advantage in the coming 2 decades in terms of the race, if at all there is one, between these two Asian giants.